people ask how Ivan's doing since his episode in the summer of 2017 when he got hepatic lipidosis. Hepatic lipidosis. Look at him. He had a feeding tube and he lost about half of his body weight very quickly in like 1 week. I fed him through the feeding tube for, I think about 2 months, 1 to 2 months, and oh my gosh, he's so cute. And it took a while for him to start feeling better, but I do have videos that show the progress of him and how he was feeling better and what the timeline was at that time, because I had a better idea of it during the videos. The last video I did of him was actually the last day he had the tube. The very next day, he ended up coughing up the tube and it came out and I couldn't get to the vet right away. And so I thought, okay, I will just see if he'll eat on his own. And this little brat did. Turns out maybe he was just eating from the feeding tube because he got to get a full tummy but still be lazy because mommy was feeding him. I'm not sure, but he did start eating on his own and he is doing great now. He has fully recovered. He hasn't gotten sick since then. The vet had us change his diet to a low-fat diet because the hepatic lipidosis was caused by an onset of acute pancreatitis in which he felt nauseated and didn't eat. And when he didn't eat, it caused his liver to start to fail. So she said that a low-fat diet will help with that. And so we got him Natural Balance Fat Cats. It's the lowest calorie, lowest fat diet I can find for him. And he has been doing great. Despite being on a low-calorie diet, he did gain all of his weight back. He is back to being almost 25 pounds. He had gone from that all the way down to about 15 pounds in 1 week whenever he was sick about 1.5 years ago. But now he's all better. You can't even see the scar on his neck where the feeding tube was. And I would say that although the experience was terrifying, and I hope we never go through it again, it did bring us really close. We are super close now. We were always close, but now he is so cuddly. He needs his mommy a lot more than he did before. He is sleeping on my bed. I'm studying chemistry. And don't mind the blanket with all the fuzzies on it. I have a really nice blanket that's mine that goes underneath this. This brown blanket is just for the cats so that they don't ruin my nice blanket. This is so that they can come on here. That other cat walking around in the background is his brother Tiger. And funny enough, not funny, haha, more like weird funny, is about, I would say a couple weeks after Ivan's tube came out and he started feeling better, his brother Porter got sick with the same thing. He got acute pancreatitis and then started getting hepatic lipidosis. But I caught him faster, and so we were able to cure him really fast. I took him to the hospital. They never even had to put a tube in him. They just fed him with a syringe. He ate food from the syringe for less than a week. He came home and he just started eating from a plate as soon as he got home, even though he hadn't been eating from the plate at the time that we were at the hospital. They sent him home because they thought maybe he might start eating from the syringe once he got home. From the plate once he got home, which is what happened. And he never got quite as sick. So the vet and, well, a combination of vets, look at him, how cute he is. Look at those little beamed toes. Boop, 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 boop. Sorry. The vet talked to the other vet about the condition because the one who was treating Ivan also treated Porter, and they both thought it was a little weird that a relatively not super common condition like acute pancreatitis would happen to two brothers in the same house. They are not biologically related. They're just brothers because they both have me as their mom. And so they were the ones that suggested I find a low-fat food, and that's what I've been feeding them, and nobody has gotten sick since then. So fingers crossed, we are not going to have any more problems. I know that people have been asking for updates about Ivan, and I'm really glad that his videos were helpful for some people, because I know that some people have found his video based off of probably a search for what the heck it means for your cat to have hepatic lipidosis or acute pancreatitis, and what the possible outcome is for a cat who has to have a feeding tube. And as you can see, Ivan is perfectly healthy now. He has his big tummy back. Oh, he loves belly rubs. And he is not sick. He doesn't have a feeding tube. Like I said, you can't even see the scar anymore. I'm sure it's in there, but his fur grew over it. He eats all on his own. He still plays. He jumps up here to sleep with me. He, pesters his brothers and sister. He just acts just like himself. He's just as cuddly as ever, even more so actually with me. And he doesn't act sick anymore. So I feel like it was a really good outcome. It was very expensive. I ended up having to pay about $6,000 over 2 months due to Ivan and Porter being sick. Ivan, of course, was most of it. Porter, I think, was maybe about 1,000 or 1,500. Ivan was the rest of it. But it's worth every penny because, money comes and goes. You only get Ivan once in a lifetime. You only get Porter once in a lifetime. Let's see if I can get Porter. There you go. That's Porter, his brother, Porter. And then that cat right there is Max, the one in the background. Maxie. He's just going to ignore me right now. They do know their names. He has been doing so much better. We are so thankful for his vets, the vets at the emergency vet and at the new hospital where they all go now. And I can't ask for a better outcome. I wish I didn't have to spend so much money, but like I said, I would rather have Ivan than money. And I feel lucky every single day that I have him. He comes and cuddles with me, and every day I tell him that I'm so lucky for each and every day when I get to have him in my lap. He is just my sweet little baby, and I love him so much. Of course, I love Porter too, but Porter wasn't nearly as sick. He was just a little bit sick for a few days. He felt a little crummy, but the vets knew immediately what it probably was. They were right, and they fixed it right away, and he recovered very quickly. Look at how fluffy he is. This is Ivan. He just stretched a little bit more. Oh. Uh-oh. He has asthma. He's always had asthma. If you're ever curious about what an asthma attack looks like in a cat, this is it. His allergies are bothering him. He has an inhaler. I've been giving it to him. I know this looks sad because of the asthma attack, but I promise you, he is not being neglected. He has an inhaler. It's just someone has been burning some wood or something outside, and the smoke is irritating him. As soon as I'm done with this video, I will give him another inhaler. But the asthma attacks do pass pretty quickly. He just kind of coughs a little bit. See? He's better. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope this was a sufficient update for those of you who were curious about Ivan's condition. And I hope that if you see this update and your kitty has been diagnosed with hepatic lipidosis or acute pancreatitis, and if your kitty is facing having feeding tube or being syringe fed, and you're not sure if there's light at the end of the tunnel, I hope this will show you that there is. The cure is to feed them. And if you can get them to eat and you can get their strength up, then you can also have your nice, healthy little baby at home. It takes a while. There were certainly times when I thought for sure I was going to lose Ivan because he was just getting so weak and he wasn't eating for such a long time. But what turned it around entirely was getting the feeding tube. His prognosis went from poor to good just from getting the feeding tube. They sent him home the very next day, and he has been home ever since. I mean, he's gone to the vet a few times to check on the feeding tube and for updated appointments and follow-ups, and everything is good now. But he has not gotten sick again, and obviously he did not die. He has recovered, and we are super lucky. In case it's relevant to you, his birthday is April 2nd of this year. He was born in 2008, so he is about 2 months away from being 11 years old. Same with the other orange cat that went past, that's Tiger. And he weighs 25 pounds now, which I know is an unhealthy weight. We try so hard to get his weight down. I think he is genetically predispositioned to be a little bit heavier, just like how some humans are, because he's always been bigger. Ever since he was 5 weeks old, he's been bigger than his brother and sister from the same litter. Like I said, we put him on a diet. He had a reduced calorie diet, and we tried to get him to play, but as you saw, he has asthma, so I understand why he's reluctant to play too much, because it is exercise induced as well. So whenever he jumps around too much, he gets an asthma attack like what he just had. But it's not. So I guess what I'm just saying is I understand why he's reluctant, but I do wish that we could get him to exercise a little bit more. We do a little bit, but he will usually just try to play like on his back like that and roll over and kind of bat with his little hands up in the air that way, because it doesn't cause asthma attacks when he does that. Hopefully when we move out of my brother's house, that's where I'm living right now. When we move out of my brother's house, we'll be able to get a better feeding system so I can regulate their food a little bit more. But every single time I put him on a diet, he strangely ends up gaining weight. And his little brother, Max, that little guy right there who doesn't need to lose weight at all, he ends up losing weight. I think because Ivan takes this food. We're going to look into some of these fancy bowls that the vet told us about, where it reads their microchip or a collar when they go up to the bowl. And so it only opens for certain cats and only at certain times so that I can control their feeding a little bit better. But at this time, I don't have that in my budget because I am back in college. But we are looking into that. I have looked at them to see how much they are, and it is on my list of things I want to get for them. But for now, I'm just going to have to stick to the low-calorie diet and try to get him to play more. Anyway, if you have any questions about Ivan or his brother, Porter, the other one who got sick, the fluffy one, let me know in a comment below. I hope that I was able to cover everything and that this will give you some hope for your little baby if he or she is also going through the same thing that he went through. I know it is super scary, and there's probably nothing really I can say that will make you feel better. I think the only thing that will really make you feel better is seeing your little baby being healthy again. But hopefully this right here is, evidence that whenever you get them eating again, they can get back to their healthy selves. Ivan has not gotten sick at all since that visit and since changing his diet. And I hope that this continues. I will probably update you guys if he gets sick again. But yeah, look at him. He's just a sleeping little precious honey bunny. Let's see his cute little face. Aww. Oh my gosh. He's like, Mom, I'm sleeping. Okay. Let me know if your cat has gone through it, how your cat's doing now. If your cat is currently sick, I have other videos on my playlist that discuss this condition. Just feel free to watch them, and hopefully it gives you some encouragement and hope, and maybe it will be helpful and give you an idea of what the experience is like, and maybe it can also help you, what am I trying to say? Sorry, I got a notification on my phone saying my battery is about to die. It'll help you know what the experience was like and what things you can expect from it. Oh, he's so cute! And now I've got 4 of my babies over here because Tiger came up here too. Oh, sorry. I am one of those moms who just thinks that their babies are the cutest things. Max. Okay. For real, you guys, I'm going to let you go now. You have a good day. Bye.